Now Thomas Hearns is an open book for Ray Leonard. Backs up against the ropes.
This is one of the most unusual calls by a referee in the history of the sport. The first loss.
A tremendous victory. Leonard fighting off the ropes.
It happened. It happened. An uppercut by Douglas. Down goes Tyson.
Thompson, right hand shot.
Excellent. Knocks out by Tyson.
Slumps to the canvas.
The champion struggles to stay on his feet.
How do you like it? How do you like it?
Hello, I'm Jim Lampley. Welcome to this look back at the stories behind the Holyfield Bowe trilogy, possibly the most memorable series of fights in 30 years of boxing on HBO. When Mike Tyson was convicted of rape and sent off to prison in early 1992, Evander Holyfield was left to search for other ways of proving that he was, as he said, the real deal. He chose to fight the best young American heavyweight, Olympic silver medalist Riddick Bowe. What followed was the greatest heavyweight trilogy since Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
As heavyweight champion, Evander Holyfield prepared to meet Riddick Bowe in 1992. He was regarded as an undersized overachiever. As a light heavyweight in the 1984 Olympics, he suffered a controversial disqualification. As a pro, he won the 190-pound title, which had little public appeal. Though lacking the natural size of a heavyweight, Holyfield set his mind to conquering that division as well.
My coach told me at 8 years old that I could be the heavyweight champ of the world. I hadn't reached the goal. If I would have just stayed the junior heavyweight champ of the world, been undefeated and retired.
He had the skills and smarts, but what made him special was his belief that he could break his opponent's will, no matter his size.
I chose to be insecure about what I thought the people would say. I wanted to prove to the guy, you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you back.
Holyfield always talked about how he would box, and then of course he would get hit, and he would start a brawl, and that was his nature.
The bigger his opponents, the bigger his will seemed to grow.
There was a moment in the Holyfield-Foreman fight.
Another left hook and a right.
When Evander went after George and landed 18, 19 punches in a row. He just wasn't going to take no for an answer.
But his inability to KO former champions Foreman and Larry Holmes seemed to confirm the view he was an outstanding fighter, but not the type of dominant heavyweight fans preferred.
People thought of him as a blown-up light heavyweight, a blown-up cruiserweight. There was this thought that he was just holding on to a title that still really belonged to Mike Tyson.
Tyson had lost the crown, perhaps the biggest upset in boxing history, to 40-1 underdog Buster Douglas in Tokyo. 8 months later, Holyfield won the championship by knocking out Douglas in the third. Still, respect was elusive.
And they said, the only reason why you won that because this guy was overweight. And I knocked him out, but people said, well, Tyson hit him harder than that.
After a dynamic powerhouse like Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield wasn't appreciated for the great fighter he was.
It was hard for people to accept that someone can be the heavyweight champ of the world and not be as big a puncher as Tyson.
Only a fight with Tyson could convince the skeptics, and one was scheduled for November of 1991. However, delays, caused first by an injury to Tyson's rib and later by his rape conviction, deprived fight fans of the most eagerly anticipated heavyweight fight in years. With Tyson in prison, Holyfield scheduled a giant of a young fighter from Tyson's neighborhood in Brooklyn, the unbeaten Riddick Bowe. There were questions about Bowe's qualifications.
The knock on him was that he was lazy. There were rumors all the time. He had to be barred from going to the kitchen during training. It was difficult to get him to get up and do his road work.
I was with Riddick when he was an amateur, and we had a lot of fun, but he never showed the drive to be a champion.
Louis brought him in as a sparring partner for Tyrell Biggs. Tyrell was beating the living shit out of him every day, primarily because he was just going through the motions.
But no one questioned Bowe's pure talent for fighting.
We knew that he had the size, we knew he had the speed, we knew he had the strength and the talent. What we didn't know is whether, when the going got tough, whether he was going to be able to step it up.
As he showed against trial horses Pierre Coetzer and Bigfoot Martin, Bowe was not the usual plodding giant. Taking on Holyfield for the title, however, would require a new level of commitment.
He was the guy that I boxed when I was an amateur, he was a professional. But I knew that from his attitude and his makeup, when you fight a guy like Evander Holyfield, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, Evander comes to get it. So I never underestimated him.
You never saw a more focused, more serious Riddick Bowe.
It was perhaps the best training camp that we've ever had. Bowe was ready to fight for the title.
A crowd of 18,000 awaits the fourth title defense for Evander Holyfield, a defense which now becomes the biggest test for respect in his 2-year reign as champion.
On November 13th, 1992, the challenger appeared ready, but few anticipated the ferocious encounter we'd see that night.
The question in the air was, how would Bowe deal with the kind of pressure and firestorm that Holyfield was capable of bringing to him?
And they brawl in the center of the ring.
Bowe has answered some questions early in this fight. He is showing a real willingness for combat.
Holyfield intended to box and flurry with Bowe, as he had against Douglas, but that plan was quickly abandoned.
He hit me so hard, but because of pride, I stayed there so long, both my eyes were swollen up so I couldn't see from the outside. So it's just a night of me standing there toe to toe.
Fighting at this furious pace, many felt Bowe would wilt.
Riddick Bowe used to be my sparring partner. Smart fighter, good hand speed, inside and outside. But he was known for running out of gas.
The left and a right by Holyfield and the left. These are solid shots, but the champion does not seem able to hurt Riddick Bowe.
Now, why didn't he run out of gas?
Round by round, the excitement was building, but it was the 10th round which took the fight into the stratosphere.
Bowe stuns him with an uppercut, and just like that, the champion struggles to stay on his feet. What a heart by Holyfield.
He's gonna stay on his feet.
He's hanging in there.
He hit me with an uppercut. Oh, it just a shot. Oh, you know, all of a sudden, you know, I know that I'm hit. Now I go on defense, and he's swinging for life.
Gets away from the right hand, blocks another one. Bowe throwing and throwing, now goes to the body. Holyfield somehow standing up.
Riddick laid so much punishment on Evander in the first minute and a half of the round that it was pretty hard to fathom how Evander was standing up.
Joe Cortez watching. Champion gets the benefit of the doubt.
It was just a matter of him getting hit one more devastating blow before I would have stopped it. However, Holyfield has been known to get staggered and come back.
If you can feel the pain, then you're still in the game. It's when you don't feel the pain, you're out.
This damn pit bull from Georgia would not go down.
Evander Holyfield's incredible powers of recovery once again on display.
And all of a sudden, the storm got quiet. Uh-oh now. Oh boy, I'm gonna hurt you.
All of a sudden he had Riddick on the run, and for the last 30 seconds of the round, you're wondering how Riddick is gonna finish.
Look at Holyfield. What a warrior. Reversing the tide of the battle. The champion now has Bowe wobbling. And he lands a right hand. Everybody in the Thomas and Mack Center on their feet. A right hand by Holyfield. And another. Round 10 continues after the bell.
Now, when the bell rung, I said, man, I just had 10 more seconds. Now, in the whole fight, now that's the only round that I was wishing that it could have been a little bit more time.
I said to myself, this cat here, you all right. I was impressed with him, you know. Pat him on the stomach at the end of the round. I mean, that's a good round, you know.
They both survived the storm, but it took more out of Holyfield than Bowe. Holyfield was floored in the 11th.
Oh, Holyfield in serious trouble now, and he's going to go down.
Again, Holyfield proved his resilience. The champion entered the 12th needing a knockout to retain the title. It was not to be.
From the back of the arena now, they begin to rise and to